Imagine, just for a second, that you have exactly 30 days to build a profitable AI company from the ground up. There's no massive team backing you, no endless venture funding in the bank. It's literally just you, the current state of artificial intelligence, and a ticking clock. Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking a total masterclass from Young, the CEO of Opus Clip. If you aren't familiar with Opus Clip, they're a $215 million AI startup with over 15 million users. And get this, they hit those numbers in just 2.5 years. We're going to extract Young's exact playbook for the solo founder who wants to bootstrap a real surviving business in what is an incredibly competitive landscape.
So here's the burning question every solo founder is losing sleep over right now. How on earth do you actually survive when OpenAI or Google drop a new model update that can wipe out your entire product overnight? Young argues that solo founders absolutely must be what he calls AGI Pro. Basically, this means you need the ability to predict what the major foundation models are going to release in the next few weeks or months. Think about it. If you're building a simple note-taking feature that Zoom or Google Meet can just easily slap onto their existing platforms, you're going to get crushed. You have to skate to where the puck is going, not where it is today.
And honestly, that brings us right to the absolute biggest trap in AI today: building a cool demo versus building an actual real business. You know the ones, right? We've all seen them going viral on social media. It's a flashy UI, some magical 10-second generation that gets thousands of likes and applause. But here's the harsh reality check. Applause does not equal credit cards. A cool demo shows off capability, sure, but a real business completely replaces a tedious, human-heavy workflow with an end-to-end solution. If your users are sitting there saying, wow, this is awesome, but they aren't asking for your pricing tiers, you don't have a business yet.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is your literal survival guide and roadmap for the ambitious solo founder stepping into the 2026 landscape. We're covering the reality check, finding your painful niche, validating manually, using AI as your thinking partner, and finally, extreme discipline.
All right, Section 1, the solo founder reality check. This is all about the crucial mindset shift you have to make right out of the gate.
A lot of people think you need to be deeply, personally passionate about the specific, boring problem you're solving. But Young actually flips this entirely on its head. You don't need passion for the problem itself. What you need is the emotional passion to be a relentless builder. You have to love the act of building something that changes the game, because if you aren't ruthlessly practical, the big players will eat you alive. Incumbents will absolutely destroy simple wrappers that rely entirely on prompt engineering. If your whole business is just a clever prompt built on top of ChatGPT, well, the next release of ChatGPT won't need you. They'll also destroy features that are just attachments to existing platforms. So you must own the entire workflow end-to-end, and from day one, you have to figure out how to gather proprietary data that grows alongside your user base.
Which brings us to Section 2, find your painful niche. This right here is the ultimate foundation of your bootstrap survival.
If you try to build for everyone, you build for absolutely no one. To survive, you need what we call ruthless segmentation. Young uses this fantastic analogy to explain this. Is the restaurant business a niche? No, definitely not. Okay, what about a Chinese restaurant? Still no. Even a Cantonese Chinese restaurant isn't small enough. You have to drill down until you become, say, the Zara of Cantonese restaurants, matching highly specific pricing and speed to a tiny, clearly defined ideal customer profile. You have to segment your market so ruthlessly that you find a group whose pain points you understand better than literally anyone else on earth.
Now, what's really interesting here is the total shift in thinking. We're moving from software as a service to service as a software. To lock in on your niche, run your ideas through this checklist. Number 1, is it a boring industry? You got to embrace the boredom, because the cool industries are 100 times more competitive. Number 2, does it solve a job that absolutely has to get done, no matter how painful it is? And number 3, are people currently paying agencies or freelancers $25 to $50 an hour to do this manually? If people are currently relying on imperfect, hacky solutions or expensive human labor to solve a really boring problem, my friend, that is your golden opportunity.
Okay, so you've found your painful niche. Now comes Section 3, validate manually, code later.
We are completely dismissing the glamorous idea of locking yourself in a room and coding a massive platform on day 1. Let's walk through this exact 30-day timeline. Notice how the first 2 weeks have absolutely nothing to do with coding. Days 1 through 14 are entirely dedicated to deeply understanding your target customers' workflows and their current alternative solutions. Days 15 to 20? That's when you engineer a simple proof of concept using simple web coding tools like Cursor. And those final 10 days are about sharing it with early users. And I don't mean just seeing if they like it. You need to measure their perceived value and their actual willingness to pull out a credit card and pay.
To prove this actually works, let's look at how Opus Clip got their start. They didn't build a massive web app right away. First, they manually edited clips themselves using AI tools and literally emailed the results directly to potential customers, just straight to their inbox. They got 60% positive feedback right there. Then, instead of building a fancy UI, they just built a simple Discord bot. No interface, just pure value delivery. They only knew they had true product market fit when creators started complaining about server queues and daily quotas. So validate the outcome first. Do it completely manually if you have to, way before you ever write a line of complex code.
Moving right along to Section 4, AI as your thinking partner. As a solo founder, you obviously don't have a human team, but you do have a wildly powerful AI brain trust.
Everyone should treat AI as your thinking partner. This quote from Young is so profound. We usually just use AI for coding or, designing a quick poster. But Young argues that AI is your senior coach. It's the director orchestrating multiple sub-agents for you. When you're struggling with a critical decision, like pricing strategy or figuring out user feedback, you don't just ask ChatGPT a quick one-line question. You throw in massive amounts of context, and you engage in like 20 rounds of deep back-and-forth communication until you reach an enlightened decision.
You can actually turn this into a highly actionable daily routine. Document everything. Take screenshots of your brainstorming sessions, grab links to your product specs, and just constantly feed them into your AI model. Then once a month, sit down with that exact same AI thread and ask it a terrifyingly objective question. Looking at the past month, what was my biggest mistake? Or what is one thing you'd suggest I do differently? I mean, having a tireless, totally objective partner review a month's worth of your documented decisions, that's an absolute superpower for course correction.
And finally, we arrive at Section 5, Extreme Discipline for Founders.
You can have the perfect niche and the smartest AI workflows, but honestly, none of it matters without the raw, unglamorous power of extreme personal discipline. There is such a stark contrast here between amateurs and absolute legends. Young compares successful founders to legendary athletes like LeBron James or Cristiano Ronaldo. Why are they still dominating in their late 30s and 40s? Because they locked in unbreakable discipline in their early 20s. Amateurs try to fix their bad habits when they hit 40. Legends establish their health, their sleep routines, and their relentless work habits from day one. You literally have to push yourself to your boundary and be okay with suffering if you want to build an enduring empire.
So what does ultimate discipline actually look like in practice? Well, it looks like 5 minutes. True discipline allows you to segment your time into buckets as tiny as 5 minutes. It means having the mental fortitude to achieve intense, deep focus, and then rapidly switch context to focus entirely on something else without completely burning out. If you find yourself struggling to maintain focus, it's not the AI tools failing you. It is a lack of personal discipline from day one.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty heavy question to reflect on as we wrap up. What are you willing to say no to today? Young brings up Priscilla Chan's extreme focus, noting that she essentially narrowed her entire life down to just work and family. Parties literally just do not exist in her life anymore. Building an AI company as a solo founder in this brutal, fast-moving market requires monumental sacrifice. The tools are all there, the 30-day playbook is laid out right in front of you. The only variable left is you. Are you ready to say no to the distractions and actually start building? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.